99% of people will qualify for FHA. Conventional is it's a different beast. You can have a credit score as low as a 580, but you're gonna have to use your own money.
Is that the 10% down? Or did
No,
they change it?
no, it's 3.5. It's 3.5 for 580.
What?
Yes. However, I always this is my thing. You know me. I want to make sure you can get everything available to you.
All the resources.
All the resources.
Okay.
So let's just go and get that credit score up to at least a 620.
So you can add the down payment assistance.
There you go.
And not have to use your own money.
Correct. And telling us what's going on in your life, that we actually can guide you and help you, because I know all the ins and outs. You know, when people want, when they say, D, hook me up, that's the hookup.
That's the hook.
That is the hookup, because that information is not readily available to the public. But as a loan officer, I know the guidelines. I know everything that you can do and you can't do. Mm-hmm. That's how I hook you up, by giving you that game and saying that, okay, if this is your situation, you can buy in that situation.
Welcome back. You're tuned in to episode 3 of The Throne. I'm your host, Matasha LaQuinn, the queen bee of real estate. And today, as promised, another special treat. My buddy, good friend, loan officer, Damon Sorrell is here with me.
What up?
Hey. And listen, we're going to be talking about all things home loans, life, down payment assistance.
Yes.
All the stuff that the people want to know about. And maybe even some relationship stuff, because this relationship stuff is spilling over into families being able to qualify for mortgage loans. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and watching who you hook up with.
Look, you and I, we done had some talks like, oh, look, after we did them loan applications, like, let me tell you about this one. You be like,
Right. Confidential, but let me tell me about it. Damon is an amazing mortgage professional. He's very passionate about the community and helping families of all cultures accomplish the goal of home ownership. And a lot of times that comes with proper preparation, because preparation is key. And when they first come to you, everybody just ain't ready. But it's about walking them and guiding them through the process to help them get ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, about preparation. But first, before we get into the nuts and bolts and all this, I need to tell the people how we met, because, or not how we met, but we became friends through some food. Was it shrimp and fish from Papa's?
Yep.
So at the time, I was a real estate broker. Damon was a mortgage professional. He's like, hey, let's talk about how our teams can work together, and I'll bring you some lunch. And I was like, oh, that's the only part I needed to hear. And
look, that's when Papa, though, that was pre-COVID, when the prices were still reasonable. After COVID, they didn't went up. I tell people now, I can get you an appetizer.
But you can't get no platter.
You can't get no platter. Back then, I can do a platter.
See, and that's what got me. It was the butterfly fried shrimp with the catfish, and it had all kind of stuff on there. And from there, we've been rocking and rolling ever since. I appreciate your friendship and just your transparency and your overall just willingness to just want to help your partners exceed and go far.
Oh, look, it's all love. We've been doing this thing, since 2016?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
time is just passing by.
Yeah,
so fast.
we OGs in the game now.
Oh, Lord, not the OG.
Yeah, we OGs in the game, but yeah, it's I love every bit of this. I've always worked in the public, since 92.
Who trusted you to work in the public with people?
Look, North Line Mall, Foot Locker and Foot Action.
Ooh,
messing with them funky feet. Yeah.
Funky feet.
Yeah.
Listen, if you could deal with the funky feet, you could deal with anything.
Yeah, look, doing that. After that, went to selling Yellow Page ads with Southwestern.
Phone book.
Yeah, that. Then look, the cell phone service, throwing cell phones everywhere. GTE Mobinet, Houston Cellular, AT&T, Verizon Wireless.
Right.
So just always working in the public. I've always had a servant mentality of always wanting to help people with accomplishing their goals. I just basically took that skill set, transferred it over to this industry and to help people make the biggest purchase in their life.
Yep.
And I've been loving every sense of it. You know, you and I have talked, we talk so often that, we have those bumps in the road. We have those clients that sometimes, they be on some other stuff, but we learn how to work through it to get them to get focused because we know once they get that house, they can really level up.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what it's all about. Leveling. You know, I always got to find a song for everything. And Sierra, level up, level
Level
up,
up.
level up. Okay. So let's talk about where do we want to start? Let's talk about preparation first. Before we get into the various loan types and how to and the requirements for those, what are some of the basic things? Because we were laughing the other day. It's like someone's, hey, I want to see if I qualify for a home loan. It's like, well, do you work? Well, no,
Yeah.
I ain't working right now.
Yeah.
That's number
One
one. You might want to get you a source of income.
income. Yeah. So I know it's seen for us, it's common sense, but we know
Yeah.
common sense is what's common to your environment.
Mm-hmm.
So the first step is you got to have verifiable income because we know
So
there's
no mattress money.
no mattress money. We got some folks out there, they got income, but it's not always necessarily verifiable. So verifiable means if you're self-employed, what did you report on your tax returns? Now, if you're a W-2 employee, that's automatic because your employer is reporting that income to the IRS, so we'll be able to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Social Security, disability, Social Security income, that can be used, even child support if the child is 14 years or less.
Wow.
It
And
can,
so what do they provide as proof? Is it like an award letter or?
so the Office of Attorney General, well, the divorce decree or child support decree,
Okay.
it
Okay.
will show the amount that they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
For Social Security disability, it's a benefits awards letter. If they're in the military, you got the VA, they have a non GI bill, non GI money. That money is usually from retirement or pension or disability. That money can be used also. So
Okay.
you definitely got to have a source of income. That's number one.
Number one, source of income. Number two.
We got to look and see if you got credit.
Okay.
So we got to see, well, how you handled your credit in the past. So we're going to have to look at your credit report. Most people think it's like buying a car or getting a credit card that we pull their credit, we look at the credit score, and that's it. And they think they're good. They can
Mm-hmm.
just move forward. It's a little bit more detail. We got to look at that, look at what's on your credit, student loans, car payments,
Mm-hmm.
um, credit card payments, those different things. If you got judgments, you know,
Oh.
yeah, that's what they're basically looking for. And so we know most people don't have experience in that, and that's why we kind of try to walk them through it. But
Mm-hmm.
for you and I, we laugh when they tell us, well, my credit ain't all that great. I say, okay, well, let's look at it and see what we can do. And they say, well, do you have to pull it? I'm like, well, yeah, that's the only way I'm
We
gonna be
got
able.
to.
Yeah, it's the only way I'm gonna be able to tell you what's on there. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
love to take your word for it, but in this industry, yeah, we got to verify everything.
Everything needs a paper trail and has to be verifiable. And I think the thing too, that's what separates the people that are serious versus those that are not necessarily serious about the journey, because those that are serious, they willing to do whatever it takes. You need to pull my credit, pull it. You need this
Hmm.
document, here you go. And they're willing to work through those steps with you and not fighting you along the way.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I've learned to say that they may not necessarily be serious. They're not mentally ready.
That's a good point.
That they're not mentally ready to take that next step. They're just kind of testing the water. They just want to put that little pinky toe in there, just see what's gonna happen. And like, no, I
The
need you
pinky
to
toe,
put
not the big
the
toe,
no
but
the
the pinky
pinky, that pinky. That's like, no, you got to stick your whole foot in here. We're gonna have to.
right.
We gotta get this thing done. If you want to
Hmm.
make it to that next step, go and put sticky foot in there, and
Yeah.
we're gonna walk you through the whole thing.
What about the people that may be embarrassed, right? Because we all have a past, we've been through things, excuse me. And a lot of them, like you said earlier, they may know that they maybe have maxed out credit cards that they need to take care of, or their credit score does need a little attention and they're embarrassed. So they don't want to start the process with anybody because they don't want to be judged. What do you say to those people that feel that way?
Well, I don't know who they've been talking with in the past that's judging them. I don't have time to judge you. I don't really know you.
Yeah.
My goal is to help you get to the next step. So if you're not ready, my position in this is I want to help you get ready.
Okay.
So now, if they don't want anybody to coach them, guide them, that's a different conversation
Right.
within itself. If they're like they want to do it their way, they're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to do it this way. Well, then don't call me because I can't help you. I this is my realm.
Yeah.
I
Let
I
me do
got
what
it.
I do
Yeah,
because
let me
I
do
do
what I
this every
do.
day.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, income, how long? So, let's say someone just started working a job 3 months ago. Is that long enough?
It can't. That's a tricky question. I'm,
Okay.
I'm gonna lay it to you this way.
Okay.
Okay, let's say they just graduated from TSU or PV.
PVU.
There you go. They just graduated and they're pharmacists. They went to school for pharmacy.
Okay.
So in that situation, yes, because we're going to use their degree as employment history.
Wow. Really?
Yes. So that's one of the things that's what it's all about, having a conversation and telling us what's going on in your life, that we actually can guide you and help you, because I know all the ins and outs. When people
Right.
want, when they say D hook me up, that's the
That's
hookup.
the hook.
That is the hookup, because that information is not readily available to the public. But as a loan officer, I know the guidelines. I know everything that you can do and you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I hook you up, by
Gotcha.
giving you that game and saying that, okay, if this is your situation, you can buy in that situation. Now, if you didn't go to school and you're working in that particular field, then you do need 2 years of work history.
Okay. So, ideally, so if you are not fresh out of school with a new degree and you just been in the workforce, you need to have been employed for at least 2 years. Now, what if they're working and they have the 2 year history, but somewhere within these last 2 years, maybe they got laid off for maybe 2 months, but they picked right back up. So there was like a 2 month gap in employment, but they got a job in the same industry that they've always been in. Does that 2 month gap within these last 2 years interfere with the approval?
No, it does not.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
if it was 6 months, then it would.
Okay. So a 6 month unemployment gap will interfere with the employment flow.
Yes, you got to be back on the new job at least 6 straight months. Then we can make it work.
Okay. That's good to know. So speaking of verifying income, what about the people that they say, okay, I have a job, I have the 2 year history, but I've been working a lot of overtime and I also get bonuses. And I want to know, uh, can I qualify? Can I use my bonuses or my overtime? Because that's what's going to help my purchase power increase. What are the guidelines behind utilizing bonuses and overtime?
So for that, that's considered what they call variable income. So
Variable. Look at
it's
him with
variable.
these
Yeah, you look,
terms.
look, that's the, we call it grinding. That's that grind. But
Right.
the technical term is that's
Variable.
variable.
Okay.
So with that, you do have to have a 2 year history
Okay.
on that. If they have a 2 year history, then they can use it and they'll average it out.
So, in order for someone, and I'm just repeating what you said just to break it down, make sure the audience is understanding. So, they have bonuses or overtime, they want to use it. They can't just say, oh, I'm going to grind these last 3 months so that I can show an increase in income. That overtime has to be consistent over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to take all of that overtime and divide it by 24 months
Yes.
to come up with what the average overtime
Yes.
pay is.
So here's the thing. We know certain jobs like the post office,
Okay.
their grind time is November to December. They
Okay.
may not necessarily get overtime from the beginning of the year through
That makes sense.
October, but their grind time is November, December.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did that for 2 years straight, yeah, all we doing is averaging out over 24 months.
Got it. So even if they only did November, December for the last 2 years, you're going to take the averages from November, December of the 2 years. Okay.
Basically, if they made, let's say they made $12,000 in overtime that year, it
Okay.
doesn't matter when within that year they got it, as long as they got it that year. And so for 2021, they got 12,000 worth of overtime.
Mm-hmm.
2022, they got 2,000. I mean 12,000 worth of overtime.
That's 24,000
That's
over.
24,000. We're gonna divide it by two. That's 1,000 a month in overtime that they'll get.
Okay.
You
I
know,
should have.
look, you know my numbers ain't always,
I should have ate
but
my Wheaties this morning.
yeah,
I'm like 1, 2, 3,
yeah.
4.
Look, you know my numbers, but I'm close. I'm close.
Right. Okay. So that's good information. So all right, credit. Let's talk about credit because I also know that credit scores. It depends on which loan program you
Mm-hmm.
want to take them on. So I think this is a good time to hop on over into the loan world. And let's start talking about the various types of loans because I know the next question is all right, what should my credit score be?
Okay.
So let's start with an FHA loan because I know it's a popular loan for first time home buyers.
Well, first time, or you don't
You don't
necessarily
have to
have
be
to
a
be.
first time
You don't
home
have to be a first time home buyer.
Is
That's
it okay?
so. That's one of the things is FHA. Most people, 99% of people will qualify for FHA. Conventional is a little. It's a different beast.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
FHA.
let's talk about FHA. So FHA, you can have a credit score as low as a 580, but you're gonna have to use your own money.
Is that the 10% down, or do
No,
they
that's
change
the
it?
no, it's 3.5. It's 3.5 for 580.
What?
Yes. However, I always, this is my thing. You know me. I want to make sure you can get everything available to you,
All the resources.
all the resources.
Okay.
So let's just go and get that credit score up to at least a 620.
So you can add the down payment
There
assistance
you
and
go.
not have to use your own money.
Correct. That's my thing is they have monies available for people to buy so that you can no longer use the excuse, I'm going to save up some money. Because here's the thing. You and I both know when you got spouses, you got children,
Kids.
life be lifing
Hard.
hard. So all that, I'm gonna save up 20, 30 racks. Come on now. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that you can't do it, but that's really hard to do.
Mhm.
Most people can afford the mortgage payment itself. They already
Yeah.
paying it in rent
We can't get to the closing table because of the
because of the money.
yeah.
So let's take the shortcut. So that's what everybody's looking for. Y'all looking for the shortcut, right? So we giving you that shortcut. That shortcut is let's just get your credit scores up to at least a 620. Now this is giving you an opportunity to get access to some money to be able to get the house and not have to use so much money, use so much of your own resources
Hmm.
to get in it. So that I got my first house with a down payment assistance
Me too.
program. So
Bloop.
yeah, so why not?
And so when we say 620, right? Let's talk to the people about which score is used, right? Because you have three different credit scores.
Mm-hmm.
And so out of the three bureaus, we're pulling whichever number falls in the middle. So not the highest number, not the lowest number, but that middle number
Yeah,
needs to be a 620.
correct. Let's start here. Most people only have access to consumer credit reports, so they're
Hmm.
looking at Credit Karma.
Which is wrong.
Is well, I don't want to say it's necessarily wrong. It's not for our industry.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Because
not for our
they're
industry.
using the Vantage scoring model. And
Mm-hmm.
you as a mortgage professional, we're using the
FICO.
FICO
Yeah,
scoring model. So the models is the numbers are calculated
different.
differently.
They're
Say that.
calculated differently.
Okay.
So most people, they have access to the consumer credit report because it's free. You know, people like free. We like free. So that's what they're looking at. But that's where we just have to have a conversation of like, hey, that's not what the mortgage company uses.
Yeah.
So you looking at that is for the wrong industry. They can use that if they want to look at for credit cards or they want to for auto loans. They can kind of use that scoring model.
Yeah.
We use the FICO. So we use the FICO model and we're going to pull all three reports,
Yep.
your Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So whichever the middle score is, that's what they're going to go with. They're not going to go with the low or the high. So
Gotcha. So, and not to cut you off, I'm sorry. So, for an example, we have someone with a 650,
Mm-hmm.
a 602,
Mm-hmm.
and a 627. And they call you and said, I got a 650 score. I ought to be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
When we pull the credit, that's all true. But you as a mortgage expert, you're not going to use the 650. You're going to use the 627 because
Yes.
that's the number that falls in between all
Mm-hmm.
of them.
There you go.
And I know a good app to use is myfico.com.
Yes. Yeah.
I use them. They're pretty accurate. Now, like you said, it ain't free. You do need to pay. I believe it's like $42 a month on what I pay for. It helps me to monitor and keep up with the scores. And you don't necessarily have to keep that membership if you're in the market to buy a home and you wanted to monitor it just short term while you're going.
Yeah.
Or
It's a
about
good
to approach
You're
the process.
You're investing in yourself.
Yeah, good point. So, and you spend $40
At Papados.
at Papa Dog.
At Papados. So we just asking you to give up one platter to check just to check and see if you can get this house now, because you can always get that platter, but you can't always get this house. So
that's what's up. Okay, so the FHA loan minimum credit score is 620.
yes.
Down payment requirement is 3.5%. And when we say that, we're talking times the price of the house. So if you're approved for $300,000, you take $300,000 times 3.5%, and that's the down payment requirement. However, as Damon mentioned, down payment assistance programs, if you're at a 620,
Can take care of that.
will take care of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you
Talk
already know.
Okay.
Just you know how they always come to us, man. Hook me up, hook me up. This is the hookup.
This is the hookup.
This is the hookup. Because when you talk to any other lenders, you either have your stuff together or they gonna just say you ain't qualified. They're not trying to give you a plan, walk you through it, everything.
Yeah.
I actually take the time. If you're serious, I'm gonna give you a plan. I'm gonna give you a plan and say, do A, B, and C, and you'll be in your house by this time. So all they got to do is follow the plan. They
Yep.
follow the plan, we get them there. Now if they go do their own plan, hey, you're on your own.
Let's talk about the plan. And remind me, I want to come back to down payment assistance and the difference in the interest rates for down payment assistance, but we'll come back to that in a minute because I want to talk about the plan.
Okay.
In the plan, we've done this a few times. I want to talk about rapid rescoring.
Okay. That is a good option. So rapid rescoring is, for us mortgage lenders, we have an option. Now, there's a cost to it, but we can't charge it to you. That we can, instead of you having to wait for the next month or the next 2 months for your score to kind of bump up, we have some options where we can check and you can pay off, let's say, a certain credit card to a certain level, pay off a certain collection account. It'll tell us where it'll push your score to. If you pay those things off and you give us the balance letter, we have a system that can contact the credit bureaus and get your scores updated within about a 5 business day period. And that way you don't have to wait to that next month or the next 2 months for it to kick in.
Okay. So what I'm hearing, we've done this quite a few times. This is one of my favorite tricks. So what I'm hearing, I come to you today and I said, I'm ready to apply for a home loan. You pull my credit and I'm at my middle score is a 610.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 10 points short, not short, but I'm short. So I'm 10 points shy of where I need to be to qualify for the FHA loan and down payment assistance. So you look at my credit report. And so most people, or some loan officers you work with, they would just say, oh, I'm sorry, you're at a 610. There's nothing we can do at this time.
Mm-hmm.
However, with the right folks that know what they're doing, you would look at that and say, okay, you're a 610, but wait a minute. I've identified a few areas on your credit report where you have a credit card that's maxed out. If you pay this card down, put $200 and pay this card down, I'm showing that'll get you 12 points.
Exactly.
And with those 12 points, you'll be at a 622.
There you go.
Right?
Deuce.
Deuce. And so instead of you having to go and get discouraged or wait or whatever the case may be, hey, go pay this. Come back with the receipt to show me it was paid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to submit that receipt to the credit bureaus to get your credit report updated within 5 to 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the rescore button, and your new score is going to get generated ASAP.
Correct.
And so by this time next week, you calling me like, bam, we got the points we need. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's roll.
Y'all, there's no excuse. There's no excuse
No,
anymore.
there's no excuse because they actually have people that want to help them.
Right.
So they just got to want to help themselves.
Got to want to help themselves. What's the most common? And, you know, I'm more on the real estate, the house side of things. And so you do the loan part every day, but I still get to see quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I won't say the number one trick, but one of the most common tricks that gives the credit score a nice facelift real fast is usually the paying down of credit cards.
Yes.
It's the credit utilization. It's the
Yes.
fact that your cards are maxed out. So you have a credit limit on a card of $3,000, and when Damon pulls your report, you've used up that whole $3,000, right? And so buying down those balances. And what's the rule of thumb for paying down? Like, your limit is one thing. What is it, below 30% of the limit, you say?
To get the points that they want, usually to get the max amount of points, if you keep your credit card between 1% and 5% utilization, you know, they get that big chunk of points.
Right.
Once they get around that 20%, you know, the points you get is going to shrink. So if they can stay under the 30% utilization, we should be able to get them some type of points to get them to that next step if they're not already there.
So hold on. You're not finna hurt my brain today. Let me pull out my calculator. I'm not, you're not about to embarrass me in front of these.
Okay, so let's do some easy numbers.
Yep. Okay.
They got $1,000 credit limit.
Yep.
If they can keep their balance around 200.
Oh.
Well, if we doing the 1 to 5%, you know, that's not
$10.
Yeah, look. Yeah. Well, but this is the thing. Most people have to understand your credit card, the true way of using it is you have the money in your account. You're just paying it at the end of the month. Most of the time people use the credit card for, I don't have the money right now. I'm going to use this and then I'm going to pay it down. And then they kind of let that credit card get to the max. Yeah. We all done did it. Yeah. I done did it. We all done did it. But when you're trying to reach that goal of home ownership and you know that you may be just a few points away, we got to start doing great over good. Like if, you know, I know when them Jordan releases come out and they're like, man, I got to get them J's. No, you don't. How about we get the closet in the house that you could put the J's in the closet.
That's what I'm talking. Perspective.
There you go.
Okay. So now that you were going to do the easy math. So you have a credit card of $1,000, and ideally we want to keep that utilization at 20%. So 20% of $1,000 is $200.
$200.
So for example, let's say, so you got the $1,000 and you got groceries, you took your kids to the movies, you got gas in your car. And so now out of that $1,000 credit card, you've used $500. So your balance right now is $500. Well, that's half. So that's 50% credit utilization, right? Because your limit is only $1,000 and you've used half of that. So you're at 50%. So what the key is, all right, we need to get down to 20%. So if you owe $500, then when you pay the bill, instead of paying the minimum amount due, we're going to make a payment of $300 so we can get that balance down to $2.
Yep.
Because the $200 is the 20% of the limit.
There you go.
Now, and I know we're kind of veering off subject here. We can call Muncie, the credit specialist, on here to help us with that.
Look, you know that's my that's my other road dog there. That helps us get us all this together.
Yeah, but ideally, that's the gist of some tools that qualified and experienced loan officers can help you with to help
Yes.
you overcome. Let's talk about VA loans.
Okay.
What's up with that?
So VA loans, and I just got through getting two clients using VA loans. They just went under contract. So VA loans are for people who have served in the military.
Do they have
So,
to be active?
no,
Nope.
they can be retired, or they can be a surviving spouse of a veteran.
Good point.
So the last two, well, let's start with the surviving spouse, because a lot of people don't know this. So if you're a surviving spouse of a veteran, the spouse can take advantage of the loan, and her property taxes will be waived. So they can
Wait,
get a
no,
house.
wait. You're not finna just hop over that nugget like you didn't just drop something serious. Did you just say that the surviving spouse can utilize the husband's VA loan benefits to purchase the home and the what will be
The
waived?
property taxes, you already know that's what, can make that payment go up and down. So they
Wow.
can really take advantage of the situation to where they can possibly buy $300,000 house. And their note might be 1,400 because
They don't have the property tax
they don't have
portion.
property taxes.
Why I ain't know that?
But again, remember that's
Oh
that's
yeah,
kind of that's kind of
that's
my
in your
that's
lane.
my
That's in
lane.
your lane.
That's my
Okay.
that's my lane there. So
Wow.
it's that, or if the veteran has 100% disability rating through the VA.
Okay.
So if they got that, they get the property taxes waived.
Gotcha. And that okay. So what's the credit score requirements for a VA loan?
So 580, they can go as low as 580. But again, if we do the 620 option, I actually can get them some money to cover their closing costs. So for the veterans, you don't have a down payment. So
Mm-hmm.
that they automatically got a benefit there. They don't have a down payment. They don't have any monthly mortgage insurance. That automatically drops their payment lower than you and I,
Yeah.
because they served in the military. They get that benefit. They are owed that benefit.
Yeah.
But now, for the ones that have that 100% disability, now getting your property taxes waived, that's even better. To where I've had a couple of clients to where they were able to buy up to like 500,000, and their note was like 26, 2,700.
Wow.
So, you know, we can't get that, but they can. So
Right.
it's definitely it's definitely worth looking into. It's definitely worth taking advantage of. They already made the ultimate sacrifice. They went over there. They had to go do some things that they can't talk about.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. So, what's the most common loan type that you see happening now? Because I know that we kind of left one out, which is conventional. Would you say that more of investors or more, I guess, seasoned buyers or buyers that are buying their second and third homes are the ones that are going for conventional loans?
Yes, definitely. So conventional, you can only really do a true investment property through conventional, which they got to put
Okay,
more money down because they're
how much is
not
it?
15 to 20%.
Okay,
So let's say they bought a duplex, they only have to put 15% down. But if it's a triplex or quadplex, then they got to do 25. If it's a
okay,
single family, they can possibly do 15 to 20% down on that part. So with it being an investment property, then their rate is a little bit higher. It's just a little bit higher because it's considered more risky.
yeah,
So that's the reason why they have to do a little bit more of investment, but high risk, high reward.
yeah. And so speaking of rates too, because I know that's been a big topic, and people are a little turned off because the rates are not what they were, a year and a half ago. But what would you say to those people out there that feel like they missed the opportunity back when interest rates were 4% and 3.5, and now they're stuck and don't want to make a move at all because they don't like where the current rates are sitting?
Well, whether they see it or not, they're actually paying it already through the landlord. The landlord is charging them what they want to charge them. They ain't paying what the landlord pays. So you're already paying that. So matter of fact, you're paying 100% interest rate because you get no return on your
Wow.
money when you're renting.
Wait. He said you are paying 100% interest. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, you get no return on your
That's
money as a
cold
renter.
blooded. You just hurt some people's feelings.
Well,
100% interest.
as some of my ex-wives said,
Some of them.
some of them. I didn't had a few in the past, so I'm used to. I've hurt a few people's feelings in the past.
You
And
used to
look,
that. That don't mean nothing.
but hey, but if that's what it's gonna take to get you to that next step,
Yep.
then I got it. We got to give you a reality check
Yeah.
that you can always. You and I have seen because most people will know when it was time for me to buy my house, this is who was my realtor. And so we seen how back in 2020 it was just the rates were reasonable, but
Yeah.
it was stiff competition out there and there was a lot of people overpaying for houses. So
That's true.
here's the thing for those who are talking about I'm gonna wait till the rates go back down. If you ain't got a whole bunch of money in your pocket, that's a waste of time because what you saw at the end of 2020 and 2021 that agents and sellers were only accepting conventional offers and they were taking over asking price.
I
So
talked about that in episode 1, the whole bidding war and people going over 60 and 70,000 to win bids on houses because the inventory was so low because the buyers
mhm.
were in a frenzy.
And the inventory is still low. We haven't solved that inventory issue. So right now is the time that you can actually get a house and the sellers will work with you, meaning that they may help you out with some closing costs.
Yeah.
So the interest rate wise, that's not necessarily a big issue because if rates if rates
Mhm.
get lower, that's a big if. We
Yeah.
don't know if they're going to get lower, not no time soon.
Yeah.
Not for this year or next year. They're not going down.
Mm.
They're steadily sliding up. Go ahead and get you something because you get to control your own destiny versus
Yep.
that landlord is going to tell you how long you going to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. And so when we speak about, the interest rates and what the market is for interest rates, let's hop over to down payment assistance.
Okay.
And we'll talk about the benefits of down payment assistance. And then we'll talk about, maybe some things to be prepared for. Maybe there's some different rate changes that come along with down payment assistance. But what's the most popular down payment assistance program right now?
So you have two of them. One of them is called T-Shack, and then the other one's called, some people say TDACA or TDHCA.
Okay.
Is all these acronyms.
Yeah.
So
Wait a minute, but this T-Shack, that sounds like what's in the Bible?
T-Shack and
Abednego.
Abednego.
My
a,
pastor would be
a
proud for this
bad Negro.
Bible
Look, a
reference.
bad Negro. That's is what they say in Fifth Ward. And so,
Oh
but yeah,
Lord. So, all right. So T-Shack. What about, is Seth not popular anymore?
Seth, you got to have a little bit higher credit score with that one.
Okay.
640 with the Seth, and it's so it's utilized for a specific buyer.
Okay.
If that particular buyer makes 127,000 or more, that's the program
Gotcha.
that we want to use for
Because
them.
back in the day, making higher income disqualified you from being able to take advantage of
Correct,
down
because they
payment
say if you make
resources.
the money, you
You don't
don't
need the
need the
help.
help. Yeah.
So Seth has higher income guidelines that allow families that make higher income to qualify.
Yes. So Houston, okay. So Harris County, Chambers, Fort Bend, Montgomery. Let me see. Harris County, Chambers, Montgomery, Fort Bend. Those surrounding counties with T-Shack, you can make up to 110,000 a year.
Oh, so that's not far off from
No,
Seth.
it's not that far off from TDHCL to DACA. They got two programs And with those, you can make one of them. You can make up to 112,000 a year. Now, Brazoria County, that's south. That's that
Mm-hmm.
south side.
Mm-hmm.
So
We ain't talking about that. We from the north.
over there, because those taxes are high,
Mm.
they can make up to 133,000, 133 or 139,000 a year,
Wow.
because it is a that is Pearland, Rosharon, that's all those areas,
Yeah.
and the taxes over there are going to be a little bit more exorbitant than in the other areas. So they
Mm-hmm.
allow you to make a little bit more money. So that's the
Yeah.
reason why, like you say, we talking about this. There is no reason why a person shouldn't be able to buy, because we have options for them to be able to get in there and get a home. They just stop trying to be picky,
Mm-hmm.
or what? Now I don't want to use the word picky. We done had them clients that they try to go from renting to dream home, and we know
There's a layer in
that yeah, it's a
between.
layer. You gotta kind of work your way up,
Yeah.
work within your budget.
Mm-hmm.
They want 3,000 square feet, uh, open concept, big huge backyard with a pool, and it's my well, I only want to pay $200 a month. It ain't gonna happen. Work within your budget, but we gonna take care of everything else and use that home. That first home is a starter home.
Yes.
You can get used to home ownership. Get
Mm-hmm.
used to home ownership, learning how to take care of the home, everything else. And then after you've had that home for about 2 or 3 years, you can sell it. Now you can use that money to go get that dream home they really want. So
Right.
these programs actually can is a way of creating generational wealth,
Mm-hmm.
because it allows you to get from renting to home ownership. Once you got this piece taken care of and you understand how to do everything, now you
Mm-hmm.
can move
Move
to
to the
that
next.
next level.
Yeah. I like that. So, what are, because I think some people don't necessarily understand how down payment assistance programs work. Um, do they have to be repaid? Or like, is there a time limit to say, okay, this program is going to pay your down payment, but you need to stay in this home for at least 5 years before it's forgivable?
So some of the programs, you have to stay in the home at least 3 years. Some of the local programs, depending on how much money they give you, 10 years or 15 years. Other programs is for the life of the loan. However, here's the thing. Let's say, because life
Yeah.
changes over time. If your children may go to a certain elementary, but you like a middle school in a different area.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say within that 5 year period, you've had that house. Let's say you got $10,000 from the program. The house you bought at the time was 200,000, but in 5 years' time, now it's worth 300. So instead of you getting $100,000 profit, they'll take the 10,000 out of it.
Got it. So they'll just, or wait a minute. What if you, will they prorate?
T-Shack will prorate, because
Okay.
there's they have 3 years. If you live in the house 3 years, they'll forgive it.
So let's say you move in a year and a half, you owe them
Possibly
half of
half.
that back.
Half of it. And
Okay.
what they'll do is they'll just take it out of the net proceeds. See,
Gotcha.
most people think they got to actually come out of pocket. You're not coming out of pocket, because the one thing about having a home and jewelry appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else loses value. So that's one of the main reasons why they need to buy this home, because it's going to be worth more than what they bought it for. And that way that gets them to that next step of, okay, we want to buy this 350 home or 450 home. Well, you need some money to make up that gap. Well,
Gotcha.
instead of that, I'm gonna save up for 2 3 years. Use this home. Go live in this home. That's your
Mm-hmm.
fastest way of getting that money to
To
get to that next step.
that makes sense. So I know, is there more? And the reason I'm asking this question is because I'm trying to paint the picture of why who you choose as a loan officer and as your real estate professional is so important. Because if you link up with the wrong person, either a lender that's not on the preferred list for programs, or they're not knowledgeable about them, they don't know how to do them, they don't want to be bothered with them, you'll come to them as a first time home buyer and they won't even mention that they exist
Exactly.
because they don't know how to do them or they're not on the preferred list to be able to facilitate them. And here it is, your cousin just bought a home and they received 10,000 in assistance and you didn't receive anything because the person or the team you were working with didn't know anything about it.
Also on our end, so now I'm gonna give y'all some industry background.
Okay.
So most mortgage companies, they don't pay a lot of money to the loan officer on down payment assistance programs.
So that's why some of them don't want to do
That's why they don't want to do it. So for me, all money's good money to me, meaning that if whatever amount I get paid on that, I get paid. But for me, it's about the referral. Is that if I help you get into your home, you're going to send me a referral. So I'm going to make my money in the end. But the most important thing is I want to help every person who wants to do this to get into a home and get to that next level. Because you and I have done it. We know what it does for your family, what it does for your career, because now you can really focus on your career because you done got the house out the way. Now you can kind of focus on your career.
It's your foundation and you can just,
there you go.
Yeah, build from there.
If you want to, the other thing I know we haven't touched, but see, you also can use your home instead of trying to get a loan from the bank to start up your own business. You can take the equity out of your home. You can do an equity loan. And you can use that money if you're trying to, you can fund yourself. So again, when everybody's looking for that key, that hookup, this is it. This is the
stepping stone.
This is the stepping stone to get to that next step when they want to do all these different things. You got to get that home. You get that home, you truly are starting the legacy because your child has somewhere to lay their head when you're gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So stable income, tips to get your credit up, tips to help you come up with the down payment assistance or the down payment money if you need help with that. Let's say we get all those things working together. About how long does it take? What's the home loan process and how long does it typically take?
See, once you found them their home, it takes 30 days or less for me to get everything processed. So it does. 30 days passes like this. Yeah, it doesn't take long at all. Now, one of the keys is we got to get them to stand still for a second. You know, as the older folks say, stand still, meaning that you and I have seen it where some people get a little excited. Oh, I'm getting my house. Let me go and go get my furniture. No, I need you just to wait. Just relax. You don't have to have that furniture on the day of closing. They thinking, I gotta have it on the day of closing. No, you don't. It's that sofa and that bed gonna fit just fine if you wait a day or two after you get your keys to your home.
It's gonna have to wait because if not, I've had clients to personally ruin their opportunity at home ownership because they couldn't wait and they went and financed furniture in the middle of us trying to close on a home, and it tore it up. Tore them up. The credit score dropped and it increased their debt.
Yep.
And they could no longer qualify. So now you stuck. Lord forgive me. But
now
you stuck. You stuck with 4 bedrooms worth of furniture in your 1-bedroom apartment.
There it is.
Because you couldn't be still.
Look, and the biggest culprit is the home. I see it all the time. THD, the Home Depot. I don't know how they find their way in over there, but they see it and they see that little sign that says, if you get this washer and dryer and you use the Home Depot card, you get 25% off. And they almost got me. Remember when it was mine? They almost got me. I had
know better.
And I know better. I had to catch myself because I was like, ooh. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, this will jack up everything. Let me relax. Let me just relax because it does get you. I understand. All I ask a person is, hey, just be honest with me. Just don't do it because we're going to see. We have a debt monitoring system.
But see, and that's the thing. They go do stuff and don't think that you're going to see or know about it. And it alerts you and you call them, where you been?
Yeah, where you been?
What did you just do? And don't you lie because I already know.
I'll be like, take it back. They like, what? They said I got the last set. No, you can take it back.
You gonna have to take it
You're
back.
gonna have to take it back. If not, you ain't got nowhere to put it. You're gonna be washing from the side of the road.
Okay. So one last thing I want to touch on is, well, no, let's go back to the process real fast. So the first step is to reach out to your loan officer,
Yes.
fill out the application, because that will allow you to, I'm doing your job. You tell them.
Well, okay. Well, okay. So they're gonna come to you first, and then
Usually.
yeah, they come to you first, and then you send them to me. After that, as they filling out the application, we're gonna just have a conversation. I want to know a little bit about them, because once I understand where they are, what their personality is, then I can kind of know how to work with them to get
Right.
them where we need them to be.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing I need from them is, hey, just be honest. Listen, if you're married, it doesn't matter if she getting on your nerves or he getting on your nerves. In the state of Texas, this is legal. This is
Community
the property
property.
state. They have 50% ownership. So I need y'all to come together,
Yep.
or y'all gonna have to go on down to the courthouse and file the paperwork, which I know y'all don't want to do. Just go and work it out. Go and work it out, and so that way we can get this done, because they got to sign.
Yeah.
So once they do the application, I'm going to look over their documents, their income, their assets, everything, and then we're going to have a candid conversation about where they want to live, how much they're trying to spend in the transaction, where they're trying to keep their payment at, so I can let them know if is it achievable. Saying like,
Yeah.
okay, you want a payment of 1,800, that means the houses that are about 200,000 is what you need to look at. If they say, well, I like the house that's 240, well, your payment's going to be a little bit more. We have to now adjust your expectations.
Right.
I can't. We not the dealership, because I know they thinking we're at the dealership. Man, I only want to spend 400. Well, why are you trying to get that Escalade? You already know the Escalade gonna be more than 400.
Right.
So go and get that Kia. It just
You childish. But you're right.
yeah.
You're right. Okay. And so from there, you're able to review the credit score, review the income, make sure that all lines up, and then you can issue them that pre-approval letter, which is what they need. It's like, what's that cartoon? Not cartoon, that movie back in the day? Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And they get that golden ticket.
Mm-hmm.
That's your golden ticket for your real estate team over here to then be able to go out and show you properties. No, this is not back in the day. We're not wasting our gas. We're not wasting your time, getting everybody hopes up, and you're not pre-approved.
Mm. And look, and we're not doing. I just want to see it. No, we're not.
We're not. No.
No.
So because when you go out and look, you want the confidence to know my loan officer has already verified my income, my credit's where it needs to be. I'm on the road. This can get done. Now let me go and look for. Now I don't have to window shop. I can actually go pick the dress I want and take it to the register.
There it is.
Basically. Okay. Well, I know a lot of people are scared most of the time. Most people don't like rejection. They don't want to be told no.
I think that's most women. Men, we used to rejection. We used to it.
Let me holler at you.
Yeah, little mama. You be like, boy, please.
That's true.
So we just like, all right. Well, what's up with your friend?
Oh, you ratchet. Let me holler at you, girl.
Yeah.
But I do know sometimes we've already set ourselves up for failure and discounted ourselves before we even try. So I think the number one, if I had to tell anybody to do one thing, it would be start the process. Just get started. Don't worry about, well, what if it's not where it needs to be? Or what if they look at it and they tell me no right now? That's okay. There's all types of things to get you prepared and get you in the right mindset. So it may not be, you might not get your pre-approval letter today, but you may get it in 4 months.
Yes.
You may get it in 8 months. So start. Allow Damon, allow your real estate team, allow my team to look at the situation, set up your game plan to ultimately get you to the finish line. Yes?
Yes, as always. It's never really a no. It may just be not right now. And if you make these particular steps, it'll get you there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the focus of you can't get there unless you actually talk to a professional like myself and you to say this is what we need to do in order to get you to that next step. If you follow through, we'll get you there. There's never been a time that you and I have given somebody a plan that didn't work. The only time it
That's
didn't
true.
work is when they
When
just
they ain't do it
they ain't do it.
or
So
did what they wanted to do.
yeah, they did what they wanted to do. But if you do the plan that we know that works,
Yeah.
it's verified.
Yeah.
It's verified. Just do what we're asking you to do. They'll be ready. That's just all they got to do.
Yep. Well, listen, I love it. So right now, if go to myfico.com, check out your scores. If your middle score is a 620, even if it's not, because we can still tell you what you need to do to get it there.
Mm-hmm.
But 620, you've been 2 years on the job, and you have a little tingling in your heart to want to own a home for yourself and for your family. Drop us a line. Drop Damon Sorrell a line. He's the best mortgage professional in the business. He's honest, he's transparent, and more importantly, he is passionate about what he does, which is very important. So I just want to thank you for joining me today.
Always.
All right. And so I hope you guys learned something today. That's our goal, is to always be an inspiration and bring value, get you guys tapped into professionals and resources to help you get to the next level. So until next time, I'm your host, Matasha LaQuinn, the Queen Bee of Real Estate, and you've been tuned in to The Throne. Bye.